So, hello everyone at another Oak Fusion Meetup. Today I'm here with Mensur Zahirovic, who is a CEO and founder of startup Easynote, and with Wojtek Wdowiak, who is experienced project manager and also a founder of Swedish startup Jumpilot, and Adam Matusiak, a co-founder of Oak Fusion software house that's developing solutions for startups and a rapid development evangelist. So, and I'm Łukasz Wybieralski, who's running the meetup and working for Oak Fusion. So hello everyone once again.
Hello. Hello.
And at the beginning, I would like you guys to introduce yourselves and tell just a few things about your companies. Okay, new people are joining. Perfect. Mensur, if you could begin.
Yeah, sure. My name is Mensur Zahirovic, and I'm the founder and CEO of Easynote. Our company is building, right now it's a project management and productivity software. We are expanding the scope, and this started in 2015 as a hobby project, and it has grown quite significantly. Never intended to make this or that it should become this huge project, but I'm very happy that it is what it is today. So it's been an exciting journey, really. Yeah.
Great, thank you. What about you, Wojtek?
Hi, thank you for hosting us. My name is Wojtek, and I'm working on project now, the company called Jumpilot. We do gamification system for indoor playgrounds. Our goal is to make kids to be more active, to move more, and with gamification and technology, we try to combine the physical play with digital solutions. Our customers are indoor playgrounds, trampoline parks, amusement parks, but primarily we want to give extremely nice, and engaging experience for the kids, so they are moving more and playing less games on computer screens.
Okay, thank you, Wojtek. What about you, Adam?
I'm a founder and the solution architect with Oak Fusion. We try to work with our clients using lean and rapid development approaches. This is something that's we're trying to add to the market from our side, and I work with the startups for many years now, and I hope my knowledge will be something that will be valued today and my experience at the meetup.
Thank you. Okay, so we can begin because the topic is rapid development, so a lot of talking about developing products. Mensur, what's great about your product and why people want to use it? Because I've seen you have almost 80,000 users for it right now, right? So what's so special about it?
We lost Mensur, don't we?
Really? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Let's wait for him a bit.
Okay. Maybe you, Wojtek, want to take over.
Yeah, I don't know what's so special. We're definitely looking on the kids' experience in order to understand what's valuable for them. But what we try to make special is how much business impact we can provide to our customers, and this is why developing our startup or developing the solution or product, we're trying to from the beginning understand what's the value proposition and the value we're providing to both kids and the customers. And I think this is something new. The amount of focus we are doing and amount of research and questions and work we put in this, in understanding and analyzing and testing the value proposition, is definitely much higher than my previous projects. So this is what we are doing differently.
Okay, thank you. So back to Mensur, I was asking what's special about your project, and why so many people want to use it? Because you currently have like over 80,000 users of Easynote.
It's to be very honest, it's been a long journey. It was never intended to be what it is. First of all, I never created this project because I want to make a difference or learn something new. It was I built something literally to solve my needs. So that's first of all what's different compared to others. I think a lot of people in this industry are creating something that they believe they want to create a product for someone else rather than solving the problem for themselves. I try to solve my problem and the challenges I had. And I know that a lot of people in the industry I'm working in are having these challenges, and I have confirmed this. And Easynote is being built based on my experience, and that helps quite a lot, because I think then a lot of people are familiar with the product and easier to use it. On the other hand, I invested significantly amount of time in growth hacking to make this product grow, and also listening to customers and also trying to make things simpler and more unique on the market, because in the end of the day, you truly must be unique today in order to succeed, no matter the business. So it's very, yeah, we make a lot of things and that are different compared to others.
How did you get the feedback from the customers? Was it at the stage of MVP product or before it was even built?
It's been once again, it's been a journey. First of all, I have never really sat down to understand my customers properly. The biggest issue has been that this is a massive project. It's nothing. I never really realized how big project I'm building. So I was just building and building a product. And one of the challenges we had, it was no problem to get customers. It was no problem to get people signed up. But the challenge I had was, I had a challenge to make people stay. And one of the reasons was that I didn't understand the customer. I didn't understand what was the issue. Why didn't they stay? And that's with this new Easynote that is being built. My brother has been working quite a lot on this as well. And we have been investigating, okay, what can we learn? What is working? What is not working? And we have implemented quite many third-party tools that are measuring data. We literally need to know what the customers are doing, if they are clicking on something, if they are not clicking, why are they dropping off? There are different tools, funnels that make you can understand, okay, a customer has finished the step 1 but never reached step 2. Okay, why is this happening? Try to really analyze as much as possible, because it's all about the customer journey. And there is quite a lot of things here that needs to be implemented in place to understand the customer. So big lesson learned. This is by far the biggest lesson from the previous Easynote, or the one we have now, is that we have implemented so many new tools and softwares that are literally measuring our customers and helping us to improve the product on daily basis.
Thank you very much for this valuable answer. Okay, maybe now for Adam, what do you think is the most important during the product development?
I think Mensur said something very interesting regarding the measurements and understanding the clients, understanding the user. So what I saw from my experience working in many projects in IT is that development teams usually focus about finishing the project. They don't care about the user. They don't care about the business value. It's about the project, about technology, setting up everything right in terms of technology, in terms of things that they are thinking is the right choice. And there is a catch that you can forget, that you actually making the software, making the product for somebody, that somebody at the end will have to use it and have to be happy about it. Because if the end user will not be happy about it, it will end up very, very bad. And from my perspective, the measurement of the user, the understanding the user is the very important part, but as well to making more business and user centric. All things that you do, you wanted to do in the software development have to be have to have this background of end users understanding what they need. And if you starting think about from that perspective, having the greatest software in the world and the best solutions on the backends, it's not that important. And I would say it's not important at all. If you have really good user experience, the backend is not that important. And at some point of time, when you actually make all the scenarios well known for you and the users are happy, then you can focus about technology, about making things right on the technical side, because this is the most expensive part of the software development. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Wojtek, what do you think about it? What are your core principles to develop a successful product?
I agree, but I think it's a process, and it's very important. And this is what we learn every day at Ming. That is a process. And first, you have to ask the question: why are you building what you're building? Is it fun, hobby? You want to create the company? What kind of company you want to create? What do you want from it? So these are like fundamental questions to ask at the beginning, because you can build things because just you like building things, but it's different if you build things for customers in order to grow business. It's totally different approach. And then if you have answers for this question, it's all about checking assumptions. And I think the examples are speaking the best. And while building or not even a building, by checking our assumptions with Jumpilot, we did a paper version of challenges that we were showing to kids. And we just designed them in Paint, very simple. And then, first assumption by doing this was the kids having 10, 11, 9 years old, they can read fluently. And a very simple jump 150 times or jump on Eiffel Tower. And what we discovered that 80% of boys age 10, they spend too much time on reading this. So it's totally unuseful for them. They get frustrated. They are not just engaged in this. So our assumption, they can read, very simple, but design said no, they cannot read. But we checked this assumption before developing anything. So our approach is, don't think that your way of thinking is the right one. Totally opposite. Try to check anything that you think it's obvious, and the rest of the world will think like this, because it's never like this, and people have different solutions, and try to learn from active listening and learning. Like with kids, it's very challenging for us. And then if you think you have an answer, just don't put too much money, time, and effort on developing this. I mean, if it's going to be a right product and you will give the value for users, customers, then you will have time definitely to make it tip-top, perfect pixel and working, 100% of time, including the 10% of very picky customers. So just whatever you can do to provide this value and then grow from there. And I think to deliver at minimum cost, according to rapid development, is what's working for Jumpilot. Because, with 5,000 euro, with 5,000 euro investment, we were able to provide the first version that was actually working for customers and people were interested to buy it. So that is how I look at the process.
Interesting. Okay, Mensur, would you like to add anything here?
I mean, it's for when it comes to the fast development and we have been we are really moving things quickly. We are designing, we are implementing them, and then we are actually pushing this to verify if our idea is working or not. One fun fact is for example, when many people are asking how Amazon is growing so fast and how can they release features so quickly, I found out that when Amazon is testing something, they are releasing the feature in live on Amazon.com for 45 seconds, and then approximately 15,000 people have already tested the feature, and then they know if it's working or not. What we have learned during our beta is that we have been two lessons learned. One thing is, the major lesson is what we think our customer want and what they really want are very different things, and this needs to be verified. We have changed the product quite a lot actually since the beta launch, just because our what we have developed and what we can see and the feedback we get, two different planets. So all the time, develop, test, verify, change, improve, and this is a continuous cycle. And this has yeah, build, measure, learn, fika all the time, and add improvements. Because one thing is for sure, if you develop for a long time and you don't test the product, and then you launch it, and this can be quite costly.
But I have a question, Adam, because I know that like software developer principles, it's to code, you know, to test and do everything super quality. It's quite the opposite of what I'm saying. What is your approach? You know, do you advise startups? No, do it right, and or how do you? Sorry for answering, you know, posing the questions, but where do you find balance in terms of quality or just moving fast forward?
All the principles of the lean and product design thinking. I think it's as you said, it's business perspective. You have to do it to test your ideas. On the technical sides, there's a catch. There's a catch regarding the quality of the software, because if we agree to work rapidly and wanted to have the prototype, or production prototype, even better, I think, really fast, there's a catch that you have to, you can make a lot of mistakes, a lot of bugs, a lot of some things that make this prototype unusable. And that's a good point. And we have this approach that during the rapid development, we're trying to actually not to code, right? Or at least to do it as little as possible, meaning that we're not only using the libraries, we wanted to use the complete solutions to merge them together. Even if we found open source project that we can adapt to the idea, adapt to the requirements, and it will work, it is better, much better solution, much better approach to develop the same code by your own, because every line of code have to be tested 3 or 4 times. If you have like a 10,000 line of codes, you have an answer how many tests you have to do it. If you use the existing solutions, additional libraries and products, you don't have to test it. You just use it, and this way you can avoid a lot of mistakes, a lot of problems during development. And the second thing is that you have to, if you wanted to code less and have less bugs and have a more quality control during the rapid development, there's very important part of composing the team. You have to focus on the competences, not only to have a complete team. Having like a whole team full-time engagement, which Agile and Scrum say that is best way. It's not always the best way for rapid development, because you wanted to have expertise from one person that is expert in, let's say, software that you wanted to use, like, I don't know, Camunda in the processes implementation. But actually, you don't need this person full time. You need it only for a couple of hours, maybe a couple of days. But this person can be specialist, and he can be very expensive, but you don't need it full time, right? This way, you can keep the budget very tight to be with the team only when they are needed, and avoid the mistakes, because your team don't have to learn new things. Nobody is perfect. Nobody knew everything. If you compose the team with a 5-person, this 5-person won't have every competence you need, right? So we're thinking from this perspective, that's, to not to code if we can, and if we have to code, we do it only once, but do it right.
Just to mention how we have been working as well is how we, because we are a very small team. Compared to our competitors, there are 400 or 500 people in their companies. Yet we have managed to build a product that is almost on the same level as theirs. And one thing that has helped us is we have first of all, it's a journey. It's not only about the product development, but it's how to combine this whole package. One thing that has helped us is product value canvas. Really identify what problems are we solving for the customer and who are we solving this, because this is guiding our product. Then who is the buyer personas, who's going to buy our product. Once everything is, we have this picture, then we start with the product design and mock the entire product. And once everything is mocked up, then it's easier to send it to the developer to explain, this is how this software is going to work. When the customer clicks here, it's going to do this. And then it's easier for everyone to visualize and to understand how to what to develop and what to deliver. That has really shortened our development quite significantly, also, and the delivery, and narrow for mistakes, because we have as well sometimes taken these mock-ups, send them to customers, and also try to receive feedback or make animation or how this tool can work, and also receive the feedback just to speed up the development of the product. So it's been a journey, really, but that has helped at least us.
I think that's a good point. We have to. I think we have to remember that rapid developments is best for the prototyping, for starting the startup to making the products at the beginning. At some point of time, you have to think about the process. Think about the journey you said, and from that point. Doing things rapidly, it's still possible. It's still a value. As I said, these design thinking, design sprints are very important. You have you have I think the best prototype you can have just on the paper. You don't code anything, but you can test it with the client, right? You have the mockups. I think it's very, very good approach to rapidly test the ideas. I remember, Wojtek, you told me that how you test Jumpilot, and I think it's brilliant how we can make the prototype using no code at all. And but from one point, there is some need to code. There is a need some creating something that will automate some part of our work, right? Measure and.
Adam, what do you think about no-code tools? Have you used it?
there is I think it's a very great approach for starting the ideas and creating the products without having any developers. I think it's something that most of people can learn. It's very easy, but I agree. It's a good approach, good starting point to test test the idea of the product, to not be at the point where Wojtek said it's we creating something for us, not for the customers.
Yeah, what you said, I think it's to understand what are the, like, if there is intention of from the customers or user to use, you don't check the product if it works. I mean, if you do it right, it's going to work. I mean, it always works usually.
No, I would agree and disagree, because I thought
no. Come on.
Yeah. For me, I thought the lesson I learned is that I thought I did the product right. Everything in my feeling is like, yeah, 110% is right, and it's, yeah, this is what they want. No. And I have also seen that sometimes the mock-ups we have done and implemented those, without the verification, we needed to change quite few things actually, because the user behavior showed something totally differently.
Yeah, I mean that you're not checking if the product, and if you check the product if it works, I mean it's too late. You're definitely too late in. You have to start in checking if there is a value with this feature of this product and then, yeah, the MAM test, launch the MAM test and see where you provide, why they want to use it, and why if they have fun, and then you think about features and the rest and testing.
Yeah.
So not to be driven by I would say it's not about being driven, but the long-term vision about how great your product platform solution will be. Oh, we'll do this and that, because then you start to concentrate on what you think is good in their big vision, and you never get there. So you start by concentrating, okay, let's try this one. Oh, they love it. Right? It's solving the problem, it's giving the value, and then you build another thing, and then you get to the big vision, which is totally different than the one at the beginning. But this is what minimized risk and minimized cost of development, in my opinion, of course.
I would say something that I think most of you will disagree. That's part of this, to achieve this, what Wojtek said, is to avoid processes, avoid automation in the software. Because from my perspective, if you can do something manually, not forever at the beginning, at this test period. If you can do it manually, just do it manually. Don't implement it. Even though you have to send notification for your users or start your software by hand, not in the CI/CD approach, but it will give you a little less time to implement. It's better to do it this way at the beginning, during the prototyping, because I think we all agree that prototyping is very, very important, and to shorten time to have the prototype is crucial.
Okay, Adam. So let's assume a client comes to Oak Fusion and he wants to have built, let's say, some kind of product. So how the process looks from the client coming to your office to actually developing the product, how it looks in practice?
Yeah. So honestly, if we're working with a startup, it's many times the first thing we're trying to do is convince the founder that he shouldn't do this. He or shouldn't do the startup, because the ideas they have, it's can be very misleading about how the startup works, and I mean, we wanted to check that the founder actually knew what is dealing with. The startup is very hard. It's a business, and it's better to say at the beginning somebody that, listen, it's very hard, maybe you shouldn't do it. If somebody agree with us that it's something hard, then we start talking about talking about actually what is the need, what is the cost, what is the budget, and so on. Of course, there is a catch. Many people that wanted to start a project, wanted to start a startup, it's at this stage that's for 1 year, 5 years, even sometimes 10 years, have this idea and grow this idea on paper with the friends, and have 100% sure that, yeah, this is the best idea, I will revolutionize the market. And I think it's a bad thinking. Many of these people I know that having this approach actually failed. That's why I always trying to say that, listen, look out, it's very risky. But regarding the process, if we agree at the beginning that everything it's understandable regarding the process and so on, we're trying to convince people that it's better to start with the prototype. Better to start if you have let's say 20,000 euro for the product, spend only 10% of that, maybe 20% of that, only for the prototype. And we're trying to agree the real MVP. I would say not the minimum valuable project, but the minimum or micro, something that is very, very small, not to spend all budget at the beginning. From that point, I think it's very hard to define this very small set of functionalities, subset of functionalities, but it's very crucial. If we succeed with that, then we're trying to compose the team that is, as I said, it's not like a full-time employee that's at this project, but only people that actually have the competence that to finish this idea, finish this product. And we usually set up like a 1-2 months period to create the prototype with this team. And if this will be successful, or we can at least learn, or the client learn what is the real goal, what is the real functionalities he needs, he or she need, then we go back to the thinking about the real functionalities, starting from what we learned from this prototype. And this is of course mostly for the startups, but we have different clients, even from automotive, that wanted to implement some solutions on the factory that use the same approach. They don't really know what they need, even though they will be the users, right? But they have to test it, and spending whole budgets at the beginning, it's a waste of money, because history shows that 90% of the IT projects change like at least 60% of the functionalities, because you have some idea, but you have to test it even with yourself.
Okay, thank you. And actually, it's interesting because you said that some people develop their ideas for years. And I've seen, Mensur, that your first approach with Easynote was in 2015, and you were developing it for 2 years. Then you stopped, and you've started again, I think, this year, right? Like, what was the path? Why did you have this 3 years break between?
To be very honest, well, first of all, I never had the idea I'm gonna make something and then I'm gonna make this huge product, and that was never my intention. So I had a little bit different approach. I was building something to manage my personal project, and I never really understood how big this project was. So I was just adding features, what people were asking, and it was just growing and growing. And I in the end of the day, I just came to the point where it was not manageable. When you're managing a project, you need to manage design, UX, UI, growth, sales, marketing. It's just a huge thing, and on top of that, manage the customers and so on. So it came to the point where it was really not manageable to continue on the current platform, and my brother was very involved into this, and and he said, yeah, the current platform is not good enough. It's old technology. It's very hard to update. It was built on we could not add the React or Vue or whatever we choose, and we decided, well, we managed to get a lot of customers. And he said, we are really good at this. We are really good at driving traffic without literally any marketing spendings whatsoever. But then he said, we need to rebuild this, and in order to be for future ready. So do, learn, redo. If it doesn't work, yeah, let's do it again. And then it was done properly. And the biggest lesson was to take all the learnings, what worked and what didn't work, because it's so important to take everything with you in order to hopefully succeed next time. In some cases,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go back to this rapid development. Wojtek, you also had many approaches to start startups and with many different products. So what are your biggest, let's say, fails and successes, and what kind of advices would you give for people that want to develop products rapidly?
It's a lot of experiences, that's right, and I failed a couple of times. And looking back, it's usually because of focusing on the wrong things. So you do not focus actually on something that is really difficult to understand. So the customer needs, problems, and value. And I would say this value proposition, or the value that your product is giving, and it's not marketing thing. I'm not talking about we will do this and that for you that you talking in your communication. It's about taking the customer, taking your product and actually using this to solve whatever he's solving. So many times I was focusing on does it look nice? Do we have right communication? Does it work nice? But it was not providing enough value. And if it's not providing enough value, it's going to die, because it's cool that you use it, but yourself, it's not something, one customer, it will not make the business out of this. So this is, I think, the big learning experience. And the other one, you have to just not lose time and do things fast and really tiny steps. Because developing anything and understanding and building business, it's time consuming, and we have so many other things to do in our lives that are much more fun that we could do it. So better to move fast and just build it fast and with small steps. These small steps makes the payment for failure much lower. So this is important.
Guys, I have one question, because you both said that we have to test and repeat and do over. How you feel about making things from the beginning to get to the trash all the work you done because it's not working, or you have a different approach and trying to fix everything and not to put in the trash that's that it's not working, but it's a waste to just put it in the trash. How you feel about that? Maybe Mensur?
I don't look, if something is not working, then it's not working. We learned that the hard way. We were developing for a few years, and then everything is going to the trash now. But there must be a point where sometimes you just need to realize to let things go and make something different, because it's look, making things is very important, but making mistakes is even more important, and to learn on this journey to improve, really to because sometimes it's, no matter how things are, sometimes it's possible to fix things that are not working and just improve and add all the, but in the end of the day, you must sit down and see, okay, is this giving the value to me and the customer, and take the decisions based on that. Because really, and it's all about the journey itself and the learnings you take from that journey. That's what I feel. So
I agree, because it's not even if something works, as Mensur said, it doesn't give value to anyone. So if there is no value, you can scrap it. And the faster, the sooner you do it, the better. And then, I had this thought and I lost it. Yeah,
then it's right.
Yes. Because this was like the point in this discussion, and how to measure the value. I don't believe anymore, and I did a couple of times this mistake. You ask people if this is a product, what do you think about this? Would you use it? And you get all these opinions about, yes, it's great, I think it would be valuable. So it's all trash as well. I mean, the ultimate test for value is, are you going to pay for it? And not even are you going to pay for it? It's like, how many people actually pays? If you find no one who is going to spend €1 on something, that means you are not providing value. Unless you provide, but people are not ready to pay for it, which means you are not, you're far away from building a business and sustainable business of your product.
Actually, Wojtek, it's interesting because
sorry.
So I just wanted to mention that often if something is free, people just don't want to use it. Like, it's kind of paradox, but it's proven scientifically. So what do you think about it, Wojtek? Like, a product that is free will or should have a bigger audience than something that is maybe cheap but paid? Because I think
I think you have to differentiate what you're checking. And if you check the business value and ability of your product to create value and to transform it to the business, you have to check if people are willing to pay for it. If you are just giving it for free and checking if it works, or if it's nice, or if it's useful, then you can build something fantastic and people will give you great feedback, but they will never pay for it. And if they are not going to pay, it's unsustainable. I mean, you have to find the revenue at the end of the day.
I can really add to that one. We one of the growths we made, and one of the reasons is that we put a lot of efforts into. It was done then when it all started into to make it ranked #1 on Google. There was a lot of done on the SEO, on the free task manager. That's how all started. This has gained us tremendous a lot of traffic, but the wrong customers, or the right at the time, but the wrong now, because a lot of people, if you set something that is free, they expect things to be free, and no matter how much you give for free, it will never be enough. That's our experience, because they will say, but could you not add this feature for free, or why do I need just to pay for this feature? So it will always someone be to so I think it's much better to have a approach. If you are a business running a business, sell the business and then add few features that are free. That is the learning we had as well.
Actually,
sorry.
I'm looking at your business model for Easynote, and I know that the basic feature is free, and that's gone.
That's gonna be gone
No, but
in
it's
2
not
weeks'
that,
time.
Yeah, it's not that you don't have to give things for free, but you have to understand where you charge for the value provided.
Yeah.
You can have a free premium, you can give it for free, and then upsell, but it has to be very clear and test if people at one point are able to pay you €1 or something, because then you can just pay your pocket money, take the friends and family money and drone it, basically.
I would like to really give a one thing that we have spent quite few months now on one thing, and that is called, I don't know if you heard of it, the aha moment. That's one of the most important moments, when the customer comes and understand what your product does for the customer. You have all experienced this when you have used when you play the game, when you have bought something, when you open a package and then you see it's like, aha, that's what it does. That's what you want to reach for the customer, so they understand your product. And when they do this, what this give the value for them, they will buy the product. We are using now several softwares that cost several $100s a month, but and literally when I understand, oh yes, this is what the software does for me, I don't have any problems paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about to tell this value to the customer in two ways. The first one is to tell the value so they get the aha moment on the website, if you are having a website. And then it's important to show this value inside the product. So it's about the journey here. Once the customer understands the value on the website inside your product, they will buy the product. But it's all about this. And this is what we didn't have in the first version of Easynote. And this is by far the most important thing we have done now, just to learn a little bit and show the value to the customer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
point. I think the having the value at the beginning, it's crucial. If you the most of the startups I work with have their own money at the beginning. It's usually not much. Usually, it's not enough to create the final solution, final software. So if some startup wanted to be successful at the beginning, have to focus on the value, as you mentioned said. If somebody don't want to pay €1 for your services, it will not get paid if you scale up, because if 10 users don't want to pay, then 1,000 will not either.
Yes. And I was just on the thinking, like listening to discussion, I would say the value for us as founders or development team is very different for the people who are going to use the product. And it's, again, I'm coming
That's
back.
so true.
So, and I'm working with these engineers. It's so important to explain them what you want to achieve and what value you want to your users to receive, because I know that a lot of engineers are focused on features, functions. This is the background. So the more you explain the outcome or result you want to achieve, the better the product, the better the first version, the better the prototype will be. Because then they start to focus on addressing the problems and giving solutions, not focus on features and technical, architecture of the product itself. What do you think, Anna? How do you manage this in your team?
Well, it's always a challenge because development team they love to implement things, and to saying, listen guys, it's not right time for clean code and code review and refactor. It's always hard for them, but that's the reality. It's thinking about the business. It's different mindset, not thinking about the functionality. Usually, even at the beginning, startups like to think about list of the functionalities that you want to have in the application. But I think it's wrong. It's a straight way to create the software only for your own. So it's the same with the development team. They also wanted to see list of the functionalities, not the business value. And sometimes it's better to set up the team and say, listen, your goal is not to create like 10 functionalities. Your goal is to gain 10% more of the users in our application, or your goal is to have 10% more subscriptions within next half year. Whatever you do, this is your goal. The functionalities is not important because you can change the functionalities, but the goal is to have more users. The goal is to have more subscriptions, right? And setting this goal, I think it helps with the development, and But yeah, it's always like having right central points to not to think about too much about the functionalities, but the users, and to not forget about the code of the quality, the quality of the code, which is important, but not the most important part. Yeah.
Right.
Please tell me, because when I listen about rapid development, it sounds very similar to the lean approach. So what are the differences, if there are any?
I think it's like an extension, maybe. The biggest difference is that there's, I think the rapid development's a bit on the anti-pattern side of whole developments, because we try to not to code, we try to gain the technical depth intentionally, because we know that we have to prototype, so the technical depth is not important. I have this. I think that the better way is to think about technical depth is not to gain the depth and never to pay it off, never to pay the depth. Just create the software from the beginning, not to focus about to fix everything, but everything that you're doing wrong, do it again, not to fix it. But the difference, I think the difference is that it extend the lean development, extend the design thinking approach to having this very strict rules on the development side added to this business approaches. Right. I see that we have questions from the chat.
Should we see if there's anyone who wants to ask something?
Yeah, maybe I think we can allow people to ask the questions on audio if they will. Łukasz, you're the host. You decide.
Yeah, sure. It's not a problem. Just unmute yourself or write in the chat.
Yeah, guys. So if somebody wants to ask questions to us, just you can unmute or write on the chat.
I think someone asked a question: how to get funds for the startup? So maybe it's for Mensur and Wojtek.
I can. Do you want to start, Wojtek, or?
I think I have very short answer. If you feel something that you have really important for you, then the money is not the issue at the beginning. I mean, testing, if it's really important for everyone else, you can do it without money. And then if you think it's right and you have potential and people see the value in your business idea, then at least in Sweden, you have a lot of like small micro grounds to check it, to test it, or at the end, to come to Mink or any other startup labs to ask for advice and talk through your idea and see the solutions where you can start to develop and test without spending money. Your time is the biggest investment for sure, time and dedication, and then if this is the right product, I think there are many opportunities on the way from different grants, investors, family, etc. So it will come if there is dedication and the right idea.
For me, how to get funds, all founded, and how to gain traffic. We have really got every single user we haven't spent a single dollar in marketing. All the users have grown organically. When I started this as a hobby project, I invested around 4 months in search engine optimization, literally massive job. Found I knew everything about all the competitors on the market, where they were advertising, how they were advertising, if it was free to advertise, and I just posted a million links and stuff back to and that all has been organic growth. So nothing invested in the marketing.
Have you done it all yourself?
Yes.
Nice.
And then I think this idea of rapid development, if you are able to do any type of prototype that improve it, in a month, in a super minimal budget, then it's the right start. If you can spend, I don't know, 2,000 euros to prove something and show the first ideas, and then build from them, I think this is the right approach. Not to
What
think
has been
about
when it comes to campaigns? What do you think is the platform to do the advertising? One thing we, for example, I can just mention is we were looking for beta testers, and we were posting to different. We were posting on LinkedIn groups, on Facebook, on Reddit, and many more. For us, the biggest value has been by far Facebook. What has been for you, and so far, what has worked for you, if it has worked?
for me.
Yeah.
We do not advertise.
You don't.
No, we do some social media. I mean, I try to connect with potential users and talk to them, but we are in the B2B market, and then we just make the story to the jumpers and kids. So yeah, I mean, spending money on advertisement in order to lose at the back because you cannot provide the product, or it's not retention rate is very low. It's the wrong focus. I mean, the focus is on value and getting users what they want, not about reaching them. Because if you will serve one user that really appreciates a product, he will come with another 3-5 people in the next month. And that's
it. All it all depends on what kind of industry you're in.
Yes.
Our market is
huge.
It's global. It's massive. So it's really different. But
if you have, even with your, if you have your product and you have one person happy to use it, then
it spreads.
This is product management. I mean, you'll have 10 people in the team in a second. Happy to use it, and then it grows. And if you take it, I think you mentioned this mistake of acquiring people and losing them the next day because they didn't stay and use it for many reasons. So it's more about
lesson learned.
Do you have any questions? We have like a couple of minutes, I guess, left.
I think about the first question, how to get the fund. I can add a little. I think it's either two sides. Either you have a developer, or you are a developer and you can invest your own time, as Wojtek said, or you have like a minimum budget, like $2,000 or euro that you can invest in. But the key is to have working prototype to go to the investor and show it to the investor, because usually investors don't like to buy idea. They like to buy the at least minimum business that is working, right? And I know, guys, how you feel about that, but I saw that it's more working to gain the investors this way.
But I think, and also you don't need to have any funds really to start the startup. What you can do is find good people around you who believe in your idea. One can be a developer, the next person can be a marketing manager or something, and then you can make a product. So it's all about the idea and finding the right people to get. One of the most important parts of a startup is the team behind the startup. So yeah.
All right.
Hey guys, I have a question.
Hello, Stefan.
Hi. A lot of discussion about the product design that is really interesting for me. I have a question regarding this situation. There are some guys that developed, I would say, pretty interesting technology, but they lack the abilities to develop a product. So based on your experience, there is, as far as I know, each one of you probably a lot of months or years even. What would you propose or what would you recommend the way to acquire those kind of skills? I mean, product development and user experience development skills.
It's the best way is to this is a very tricky one because you need to have experienced people who are user experience. One thing is there's a really good website which is called Dribble and Behance. They are seriously Behance.
What? Behance?
Yeah, and Dribble.
I will put it on chat.
Yeah, I can. We
Thanks.
can do it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that after this. They are really serious, talented UX and UI designers there, who can really design a product, design the user flow, and make the entire user face and everything of your product. That's the best way and quickest way to find the right people, because it's a really probably the most important part, because it's showing the product to your user. So you really need to find the right people for the job, and it's really not easy to find skilled people in this industry. However, in these two places, seems like everybody's gathered there to show their work to the world. So that would be my approach.
Okay. Anyone else? Thanks, Pedro.
I think there is a risk if you find somebody that is cheap and have some skills, but not all of you have all you need. There's a catch. You can spend much more with this person than somebody that is much more expensive, but have all the skills you need, but spending only a couple of hours on the work, comparing to a couple of days. And
I'm just curious. Is it even possible to get to have a team that actually where the founder does not get does not have this this kind of skill, does not feel the idea behind what you just all said, right? Do you think it's feasible to get outside people and even, I don't know, hire them or maybe make them some kind of a co-owners? How do you think? Is it even possible not to be a founder and without this kind of skills? Do you think it will succeed theoretically, based on your experience?
Theoretically, I'm coming back to the focus. If you are technology driven and you're a specialist and you love your technology and this is what you're good at, then very often you develop technology for the sake of developing it.
Sure.
And this is very, very difficult then to market it, because you do it from the like wrong point of start. First you start to understand what is the problem, and then you think about technology that you can solve the problem or provide solution. This is what we've been talking for the last hour. If you start with technology and then you start to think about problems and solutions that technology might resolve, then the risk of failure is very, very high, because you try to bend what you have and you try to find the value. And I did it once, and basically you're just going around and you never end up with the right product market fit. But if you're at this point, then I would just put technology guy in front of the customers and let them talk to them and let them see where the technology might help them, because they have to understand the customer. You cannot outsource this ability. That's my opinion.
Thank you. This was very wise.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Stepan. Well, okay. I think if anyone wants to ask any more question, please do it. If no, I think we'll be finishing.
I think there is a one from Linus regarding the traffic and the balance on rapid development and advertising.
It was answered already by Mensur. But if
okay.
you want to add something, please go on.
Yeah, if the question is answered, Linus, if you think that there is something have to be added, and just I think Linus is off. We are 5 minutes of the time, so I think this question was answered.
Okay.
Then.
So thank you everyone for coming. It was great to have you here, guys. Mensur, Wojtek, Adam, thank you very much, and see you next time.
There is one question.
Oh, okay,
more.
okay. So...
And AD hands a rent. So I think have one question more.
Mhm.
Okay, let's focus on the Hussein said any. Any reference guidebook.
Guidebook for startup major stages. Oh, that's a tough one. Having a startup is really, I think it's not a, I don't think there's any book you can really, who can give you all the answers you need, because it's so, coming to having a startup is really solving challenges on daily basis and taking different steps. And every startup is a different startup, and every industry is a different industry. So it's very, very hard. This industry we are in, it's really contains of many different steps. It's a product design, product development, understand the customer, solving their problems, working with sales, working with growth. It's so many different stages. So it's a journey, and if you believe that you can make something and have that developed and get very rich in 6 to 12 months, well, it's really much harder than this. It's a long journey to get something. So I really don't know what I could recommend here. It's a lot of steps.
I think the short answer is to look at the design thinking. I think this approach is very easy to understand. There's a lot of great videos on YouTube, very quick, and describing the idea of design thinking approach. And I think from the beginning, I mean, from the beginners, it's the easier way to understand the stages of the creating a startup. Regarding the book, there is so many, but honestly, I will recommend to start with the very simple videos on YouTube, because it's more entertaining than just a book, and having visual content helps to understand the all these stages. As Mensur said, there is a lot of stages. There's a lot of tasks you have to do to create a startup. But I think this is the starting point to understand and to go into it.
Okay, I wanted to just recall that if any one of you have any questions, we will help, because OFusion, as Adam is representing me, we are helping startups and companies in creating products, and with all around the development. We also are advisors. Adam is advisor to startups. So maybe if not now, if you don't have any questions now, but you want to ask them later, we can just hit us up on oakfusion.com or personally to Adam on LinkedIn, and everything will be answered to you.
Yep.
Just Hussein, because I think about the book, we preparing with OakFusion the business case, business study about how we developed the Jumpilot with rapid development together. So if you could share it to the guests today, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. I will send an email then.
Okay. So you'll find, Hussein, you will find, a lot of step-by-step information and a little bit of our experiences with the Jumpilot. And then.
Great. Okay. So thank you once again, everyone, and our prelegents, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day.